Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well. And how many days? 4 more days until the Premier League kicks off. I was about to say Barclays Premier League then, but we know it's not that anymore. But the Premier League's back, baby. We are here Monday evening, Monday night here. It's the call-in show. Guys, this is your platform. The floor is yours. Hit that link in the pinned comments. I think it's still there. Make sure you do hit that link and call in, and we'll discuss whatever you want to talk about. I know it says Premier League in the title and thumbnail, but even if you're a Championship fan, we've got someone who follows the Championship in the background right now. I'll introduce him in a second. It's my, you know what? I'll do it right now, people. Let me introduce the amazing man who's based up in North. He's a Chelsea fan. He only wants the league. He doesn't want a Champions League. We'll see if he's happy at the moment, but it's my brother, Hanif from 532_pod. How are you doing, my brother?
Evening. Thank you for that. Tereak, are you looking for a job as a boxing host or something?
Hey, what's it? Bruce Buffer. Yeah, he's getting on a little bit now. I'll charge a lot less just to say the amazing or whatever the tagline should be. Wagwan, everyone. Maybe does that really work in a boxing ring though?
I don't think you can make that your own. To be fair, I think that's taken.
Yeah, Wagwan, everyone. Nah, that's mine, man. See copyright right on it. But bro, how are you feeling, man? How are you feeling? Like we spoke a little bit last night. The news has broken out about a certain Mark Cucurella, who's someone you've been speaking about a little bit as
What
well
can
when
I
we've had
say, T? What
conversations.
what can I say? I might identify before it emerges at the in the top side. I've always said this this individual who I think is a very good player. Fair, the price tag is the price tag. Listen, you can't argue against what clubs value their players at. You just can't. It is what it is. But if people don't think Cucurella is a baller, especially in the position that I think Chelsea need him for, in my opinion, he's as good as and maybe even better than Ben Chilwell. Alonso has got his head in Barcelona. He wants to go to sunnier climates, and I personally think if you want him, you're gonna have to pay the money. And it seems as if, regardless of what we think about the ownership at the moment, the manager is getting the players he wants, and he is someone that I believe will enhance the left hand side. It provides good competition for Ben Chilwell, someone who's not going to stay fit all season. So yeah, really happy with the transfers at the moment. I just wish, like Arsenal, we would have probably got him in earlier and settled them in sooner. I think that's the only thing that's worrying. But apart from that, yeah, I think it's going to take us a couple of games to get us into our strides, maybe till the end of August, because I think we're going to start very slow.
There you go, right there. Before we get more into it and we talk about Chelsea, because I know you briefly mentioned them as well yesterday, and we talk about, the potential incomings and outgoings. What we'll do is just let you guys know. You can have your say by clicking the link in the pinned message above. As we got Hanif for as long as he's able to be here on this show tonight. And I'm sure he'll be here challenging whoever you support as well, people, because, me and Hanif, we're football men. That's what we are. Real talking football men. You know what I mean? So you can come on and join us. You know what? That's my wonderful co-host in the Twitter Spaces as well. We hosted our first one. When was it, Hanif? Last week, Wednesday.
It was just last week, wasn't it? Yeah. Big up the comments, everyone. Big up to
Exactly.
you all.
Big up everyone. Who did vote for Spurs, by the way? Did you vote for Spurs to win the league, Hanif?
No, I've gone for Liverpool.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that a bit later. Bill Matt, who's in here saying Everton will win the league. Oh man, that Lampard juice. Big up, David. He said, "Who didn't vote Liverpool?" Lol. It must have been you, David. Big up yourself. Thanks for joining in, man. Why isn't Wolves an option? Just like Everton on an option there, bro. It is. And Matt G. You know what? If I could find out, I will. This is why I'm asking, so I can ban them, so they can never come back on the channel or the stream again. Because even from Spurs fans, that's delusional. There but bias. That's what David is saying. Big up yourself. Big up Louise in here as well. Unpopular opinion: Forest will stay up. Interesting. We'll be talking about that in much detail. We'll like to hear Anif's thoughts on it as well. Leicester might be under consideration of going down. You know, my reasoning for this is because as of now, they haven't signed anyone. We'll talk about that as well because you know, with Leicester, their squad is ridiculously big. They've got so many players that they need to shift out. I think it's more to do with financial fair play is why they're not able to bring anyone because they've got too many players on the books at the moment. Preview shows coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. You heard it here first. Exactly, people. So that's where we'll go into the likes of Leicester. Myself, I will go and Ed will join me talking about Forest and Leicester. Big up Hanno in the place as well, another Chelsea fan. Fads, tell me how good Arsenal's defence is. Hey, it's looking good. That's what I will say, Fads. It is looking good. Paxton in here, technical talks, back at it again. T saying Obs Liverpool. Of course, she was going to vote Liverpool. Big up yourself, sis. For fantasy sake, heard Gabriel have aerial threat. You know, Arsenal. So yeah, Hanif, I'll let you answer this one. How do you rate Arsenal's defense in an FPL sake? You know, would you see much
Arsenal's? I think Arsenal's defense, depending on which fullbacks you have, is really good. I think.
I agree.
I think I don't know whether they'll get a lot of goals, but I think they'll get a lot of assists. I see that it's. I think it all comes down to fitness levels. I think one of the things that Arsenal had an issue with last season, and I think Zinchenko kind of bridges that gap, is when you've lost a quality player like Tierney, and I think he would have been your captain if injuries weren't an issue. Is who can bridge that gap, and I think Zinchenko bridges that gap really well. Maybe even enhances that gap because you need, if Jesus and the attacking threat is going to score, you need someone to provide from either side, and that left hand side I think is a lot stronger. I think you might need a right back, but I think from the left hand side I think it's really strong. I think Zinchenko is a fantastic buy. You could argue that he might even be first choice ahead of Tierney. You could argue that point.
Yeah,
it's a good headache to have, to be fair.
It's the type of headaches you want as a football fan and for a manager in Arteta. Big up yourself, CM, saying large up Tereak and Hanif in the place. TTF, bomb. You dropped it right there. Everton never shone so brightly. What are you on about? What are you on about, Matt? Hanif got the cricket batsman vibe, so with the shades, he actually does there. Yeah, big up Ed. He actually does have the cricket batsman vibe. Hey man, Hanif loves Cucurella because of his hair. Simple as. I think Hanif's starting off Cucurella at the moment. That's what he is. He's
I wish I could.
Oh. Hey, back in the day, Hanif, we need to see you back in the heyday. Did you have long locks? Did you have long hair? Or
I'll drop you a picture, Tereak. I'll drop you.
Hey, there we go, FIFA. Big up everyone in the chat right now. Chelsea waiting for any advanced talks with players. Then they just try to hijack the deals. It is what he really wants? Asking Paxton. Good question, because Fabrizio Romano is tweeting out all summer that he only wants Manchester City, but now it looks like that has ended because Manchester City aren't willing to meet or get near to the asking price of 50 million that Brighton want, whereas Chelsea, they've come in through the door, adding in a little bit of Levi Colwill, you know, who for Hanif will be very familiar with, and we'd like to hear his thoughts on that. What about you? What do you think about that? Levi Colwill being added as the option, and are you a bit disappointed that he's not going to be? He's not. Well, it doesn't look like he's going to be given a chance at Chelsea.
The thing is, Tariq, the thing is with these young players, right? You know, if it was Frank Lampard who was still here and giving youngsters a chance, that's one of the reasons why Mason Mount has shown the ability, because he was under a manager that gave him his chance, and then he thought he'd give him his chance in the Premier League. That's why Mount was able to do that, because of Thomas Tuchel and the pressure that the club is under, the pressure of winning, the pressure of getting into that top four. I don't think there's many, unless you're a very special talent, there's not many youngsters that are going to shine. I've said this many times. I don't think Gallagher will shine this year. And the thing is this, if you're going to be a youngster and someone's offering you first team football, whether it's Championship, Scottish League, whether it's a top five league, you need to take it. You shouldn't, if you're someone who's gunning to play, you should take it. But if you're being offered 100 grand a week by Chelsea or whoever to stay, or I get that. But if you want to be a professional footballer and you want to play the game, you need to go to somewhere when you're a youngster and play and make a name for yourself. It's not about
True.
coming. It's not about coming through the academy, because let's be honest, not many players have come through the academy, and Mason Mount was very lucky because of the environment he was in and the person that gave him his opportunity. So I don't think Caldwell will get that opportunity at Chelsea. I really don't, because he still needs time. He's still a bit raw. And is he ready for Chelsea? I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. And that's just, I don't want to be harsh, but we can't we need players that are ready. And unfortunately, I just don't think he's ready yet. He might be. A buyback clause would be a good idea,
Yeah.
but at this moment in time, if he's going to be part of a deal that sends him to Brighton, then so be it.
Exactly that. Big up B&B in here as well, saying Chelsea so lazy, let Barcelona tuck them into bed. Yeah, because there was rumours about Cucurella being linked back with Barcelona. So yeah, I don't think it's legit. I just think it's just troll accounts, just trying to bring up this Chelsea versus Barcelona race again. Barcelona's transfer dealings is incredible. Makes absolutely no sense. You know what? I've kind of spoken about this a little bit as well, bro, with Barcelona. I think what they have done it's not, it is public information, but it's not really been spoken about as much with the economic levers. Basically, they've just sold their rights, a lot of their rights, their image rights, their TV rights, and to make money. And it's quite common in the financial world with big businesses. If they are in so much debt, they just sell their rights for a period of time and they make money back on that. And and then if the rights increase, then whoever has a percentage or a stakeholder in that, they obviously they get more money. And that's what they're selling, really. They're gambling with their future in that sense, and then money that they could potentially missing out on. But and if you're a buyer, that means you're investing. So yeah, for a period of time. So yeah, that's what the economic levers are. That's why they're able to spend so much money. And if any of our clubs were in that situation, we'd probably make even more money because of the TV rights in this country being astronomical in terms of the numbers that we get from Sky, billions of pounds worth. And then in Spain as well, they don't have it split out equally. So Barcelona and Real Madrid, they take the high percentage of the the rights and of the money that's coming in from TV companies, from sponsorships who come and sponsor the league, because they know, and La Liga haven't made it fair in splitting the money, because they know, these two know, that they are drawing the most attention. They're the reason why. So that's why Barcelona have made the money that they made.
But
There.
one
Good
thing La
evening.
Liga have done, Tariq, is
Yeah,
one thing. Sorry to interrupt. One thing that they have done
that's
is
right.
they brought someone in who's not willing to allow them to spend more than what they earn. So they have to stay within their financial limit, which I think
Yeah.
is going to eventually happen in the Premier League. I know there might be ways around it, but because clubs like Barcelona can't register a player because they've until they don't sell anyone. I think that guy's trying to sort out their league financially. I think it's a really good idea, to be fair to him.
Exactly. It is true. It is. Good evening to yourself, Mr. 200. Hope you're keeping good. Have you seen what formation Arsenal play when they're attacking? Is it two? Yeah. Louis been doing his research. He's been doing scouting missions in terms of how we play. Oh, do you know what about that, Louis? In possession, when we have the ball, it is literally a 2-3-5. Because with Zinchenko and Ben White, when they took into midfield, Thomas Partey, they join him in that central area. Xhaka's pushing up, Erdegaard's pushing up, and you've obviously got the front three of Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. So yeah, it is very, very much possession heavy and dominant. But if good side like Palace, if they can play through that pressure, get the ball out to Zaha, Eze. I know Elise won't be playing in that game, but Edouard, if he's there playing or coming off the bench, he could cause us some problems, definitely. But we'll get into that. I'd like to hear Annie's thoughts as well, but we'll just run through the comments first. Big up yourself as well, Em. Hope you're keeping good. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Big up, man. Big up. B&B, Saliba, and Zinchenko must buys in FPL. B&B, I was thinking about that. 4.5 million. Zinchenko, 5 million. It's a bit of more of a risk because with Kieran Tierney, when he comes back, is Zinchenko still a guaranteed starter? Not too sure. But, well, Hanif mentioned, he said, you know what? Even if Kieran Tierney was fit, Zinchenko, he's good enough to displace him. So, yeah, it's true right there. FPL reasons, I only have fullbacks and wingbacks as my defenders. Guys, make sure you click that link as well in the pin message if you want to come on and call in and speak to us and talk about your side. So, yeah, bit pricey. David saying that City to win the Prem. That's a still, Ed. He won't be that cheap again. We'll have to see. That if we do have a good season, he probably won't be. Big up King in here as well, and everyone in the chat. So, I want to talk about Chelsea because whilst we've got Hanif here as well, we spoke a lot about Arsenal yesterday. I want to hear what your thoughts are on Chelsea because a lot of Arsenal fans looking at Chelsea saying, you know what, they're out of the top. This is the team that we can overtake in the league. It seems like there's a lot of trouble. Thomas Tuchel once again reiterating that the team isn't ready yet. Do you see Chelsea ever being ready at some point in the transfer window, or do you think that they are really there for the taking?
It's an interesting one. Chelsea currently are in a bit of a mess. You don't really know what they're doing right now. It's a bit, even their transfer strategies, like just go after anyone who's available. But what I would say is I think they're being underestimated. I think Chelsea, they're one of the most successful clubs in the country for the past 20 years for a reason. And I think they will do well this season. I think they'll get top four. But is that what Chelsea fans are going to be happy with? They've seen top four for the last 5-6 years. They probably want to win the league, and that's the standard for a club like Chelsea. So I think Tottenham are the ones who are being somewhat overrated in a sense because everyone thinks just because they got top four over us last season, they can go on and do like a title charge or anything. I think that's silly. Chelsea, I think they would finish third and it'd probably be the two North London clubs and Manchester United, of course, fighting for that fourth spot. So I think Chelsea will finish where they finished last season. However, it does look a bit shaky right now.
There you go. What's your response to that, Hanif? M quite mentioned in there that, are you happy with top four with the current circumstances? Because, we have to be realistic as well with what's happened recently.
Top four, Tariq, there's no difference between who finishes second, third, or fourth, really. We know that because this top four nonsense. I hate this top four nonsense and the disrespect the domestic trophy gets. Fourth position, the FA Cup. If you want to enhance the FA Cup, whoever wins the FA Cup, Champions League, simple. That's what they should do. And I think there's a stipulation from UEFA that won't probably allow that. But I just personally think, look, if you said to me we'd win a trophy and get this Champions League place, then yeah, because I just don't think we're going to get closer to I think Spurs will get closer to the top two. I disagree with them. I think because Antonio Conte is the type of manager who's gonna absolutely drill his team down to the T. He made Ben Davis look wicked last year. And when you can improve players that are average and then make them decent, just imagine once he gets a squad that's willing to fight and die for his team. And I think that was the difference. I think Arsenal had their own issues as well, but ultimately Spurs had a gap to catch up, and they caught that gap. Now we'll see what happens this season, but I just think with Chelsea at the moment, I think we'll compete, but that's about it really. But we might win a trophy. I think we'll win a trophy along the way, a domestic trophy. But that's it. We're not closer to City. City are the ones. City are the ones you have to watch, because they've won the title so many times over the last 5-6 years since we won it, and we're nowhere near. We have to be honest about it. But this is why you have to. This is why I've always said, back the manager, give him what he wants, and then we'll see. If we're about 12 points behind City at the end of the season, I could accept that. But when it's much more than that, you have to start then question the manager, and because he spent a lot of money as well, you don't sanction a move for Lukaku. You just say no, listen, stick with what we've got. But I think I think if we get two more players, I think top four and a trophy. But I'll take the trophy more than top four. Top four doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. People say, "Oh yeah, you can attract better players." Okay, Arsenal haven't been in the top four for the past God knows how many years. They're still getting top players. So
True. Good point.
yeah, the top four to me doesn't scream anything. You want to be competing for first, and I don't think we will. We're far off, unfortunately.
Definitely, I hear that. I hear that for sure in terms of competing. And Ed's asked you a question here. Says, Hanif, what's your thoughts on Sterling joining? And I'll add a little bit of a little bit of Tereak talk seasoning on that. Do you think he improves your attack? Just him alone?
I think Sterling's an extremely underrated player. I don't think he gets the props that he deserves. He played across the attack for City, scoring, I think he scored 13 goals, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 10 to 13 goals. He was in and out of the team. Now, the thing is this, if he gets the chances that Pulisic was getting last year, I expect him to get 10 again. And I know he's awkward in the box. His dribbling ability gets him caught. He gets caught in between defenders who have to foul him, and then he wins a lot of penalties. So if we can if we can be a side that creates a lot of chances, I think he's going to be really good. But if we're not that side, then it might be a bit of a problem because he's going to have to work hard as well off the ball. That's one thing that our players have to do. Now, I need him scoring because we lack the two players beside the striker need to get most of the goals because the guy in the middle doesn't seem to score that many. So he's one that we have to rely on. We have to back him. So I'm hoping he'll get 10 to 15 and I'll be happy with that because I think that's about what he'll get. But we'll have to wait and see, really. It depends. He's trying this new 4-2-3-1, so we'll see what happens.
I think B&B, I think you're letting your thoughts known on Chelsea. Sterling is greedy. Perfect fit for Chelsea. And just on about Spurs as well. And B&B's also said Spurs have the Champions League with a Europa League squad. Have not improved the first 11. I don't understand the hype. I think they have improved aspects of the first 11 and their squad. Basuma, I think he's an improvement in the midfield. And he'll give them a different dynamic in progressing the ball in transition. I think that's probably what he improves on most. And then Richarlison, he offers an alternative to Kane and Son when needed. But I can hear your point, definitely, because when I'm hearing, Arsenal, they're not quite there because, they've got European competition now. But people forget about bringing Spurs into the equation as well, B&B. And then we also look at Conte's record in Europe. It's not pretty. He's not very good at competing on both fronts, and I'm sure he'll want to improve that record, and that might come at detriment to their league form. So if Spurs make it to the round of 16 or any further than that, then I definitely do see it hampering on their league form because unless you're Manchester City and Liverpool, you have to be at a ridiculous level in my eyes. What would you agree, Em, in that?
On Spurs, I would say a lot of their signings are overrated, but the likes of Richarlison and Lenglet, I'm sorry, but that doesn't scare anyone in the top. It don't scare the top two, and it'll definitely not scare the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal because I don't think Arsenal and Chelsea will take those two players, Richarlison or Lenglet. I don't think they're two good signings in my opinion.
Richarlison, I hear the Lenglet one. I agree with you on that. I don't think either of us would have taken Lenglet.
Even Richarlison, like, let's be honest, would you take him at Arsenal?
I can't lie.
I'll take him at Chelsea.
I would not. The price, I don't know. I'm not sure about the price, but if you're talking about the player, the price is only matters if he flops at the end of the day. If he's good. And he adds about 10 goals to their squad, I think that's probably worth it,
I would say forget Yeah, I would say forget Jesus and say we went and signed Richarlison. Would you be as happy as
No, I
if we
wouldn't.
signed
I wouldn't
Jesus?
be as happy. I don't
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if Richarlison is as good in the central areas, but I think he's very good. I do like Richarlison, and I'm sure. Look, Matt saying right here, put some respect on his name. Richarlison, yeah, obviously he kept them up last season. I understand where you're coming from, in that sense, because he has had a lot of moments where he hasn't really quite lived up to his potential. But would you say that's a little bit more with Everton, not
Was
really
he
building in the right way?
was he even Everton's best player? Because I
Last
think Calvert
season,
Lewin's better than him.
ooh, see now, like last season, it was definitely Richarlison because Calvert-Lewin picked up quite a few injuries, and even in the season where they were quite well under Carlo Ancelotti, I remember in that Spurs game where he had like ridiculous amount of dribbles. I think he picked like a Premier League record of the most amount of dribbles completed in a game, and that was whilst he was playing on the left wing. Someone who can score a goal, like he misses quite a few chances, but the fact that he's getting there is a good thing. Left foot, right foot header. Hanif, what's your thoughts on Richarlison?
It's the attitude.
Yeah,
The attitude.
that's a good
For
point.
me, he's no nonsense, and for me, he's the perfect type of player that Chelsea needed because whenever Chelsea have had a striker that does well, the attitude is Drogba, Costa. We've not had many. It's the attitude that can get you over the line sometimes, and I think um that's what Antonio Conte is attracted to. This kid doesn't care. He's got that attitude, you know. I think Troy Deeney said it well. He goes, "This kid, he's got the right attitude to be successful in the Premier League." And when Troy Deeney says something like that, I'm like, you know what? Let's keep an eye on this kid. And I think that's what you need. He's no nonsense. You know what you're gonna get from him, and I like that in a football player. Is he a top goal scorer? He's getting his chance now. He's gonna play alongside one of the best attacks. But ultimately, would I take him at Chelsea? Yeah, just because of the attitude, what he brings. He's not scared. You know you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to compete and work against that, and that's why I like players like Richarlison.
Yeah.
So I would have taken him at Chelsea. I'd have taken Jesus first because I think
Oh yeah.
Jesus has got the more quality, but Richarlison he's a dog man, and I like that about him.
You can tell from the background he's come from. Like, if you read up on Richarlison's story, I know not many Arsenal fans are going to want to do that now, but it's quite interesting to see the struggles that he's come from and how he's had to really fight to get into football. And listen to Santi right here, people. United Abroad, go subscribe to them. Go to Santi. How is there 26 votes in the poll, but only 21 likes? People, smash that like button. We've got 15 of you here. It will help me greatly, and it helps getting the stream out to everyone. Big up King saying nah, DCL is so overrated. Big up Samuel Papula saying Richarlison is a good player, but for 60 mil, not for me. There was another question for you as well, M, that I wanted that Ed asked, and I thought it was quite good. He says, M, thoughts on any player out there you want MA to go and get before the end of the window? But just before you answer that, big up my brother CM. Yeah, look what he's repping. The Jamaica jersey right there.
Happy Emancipation Day, people.
There you go, people. There you go. See, CM's a real man. I'm a Jamaican out here. I didn't even know that. but what about you? Is there anyone that you got in mind that you'd like Mikel Arteta to go for?
Well, we're hearing reports every day that it's getting closer. I want Tielemans. I think we need an upgrade in midfield. I think we do need another winger. On that left-hand side, I do like Martinelli. However, I think we could slightly upgrade on him.
Okay, on Martinelli.
Not saying he's not good enough for Arsenal. I think he is good enough, but I think on that left-hand side, I think we lacked goals. Martinelli only scored 6 goals last season, and everyone was jumping about. But I think he's a good player, but I think you need a more complete winger who's ready in their prime.
Yeah,
he's at Bayern Munich. It's Leroy Sané. Go get him.
That's a dream. That's the pipe dream.
That is a dream signing.
Yeah. I know you've been listening to Igal too much, man. He's been getting you that Leroy Sané propaganda. But yeah, if there was any possibility, I would go for him as well. Just before we hear
So my answer
CM's,
would be Leroy Sané.
yeah, definitely. Just before we hear CM's thoughts on the situation, then he can talk about, his beloved Manchester United with the season coming up ahead. Let's take a few more of your comments. He will only play from the bench for Spurs, says Samuel. I do think he will start there. He could potentially take over from Kulusevski, I will keep an eye on that. There's my little hot take that Richarlison will start on that right ahead of Kulusevski at one point. By the end of the season, I think. Big up Roland over at Pros Only Sports, saying big up the man them. Big up Steffi who's in here as well. I gave you a little salute, but yeah, nice to see you, Steffi. Hope you're keeping good. Put some see, Matt just wants respect on everyone's name at the moment. It's hard when Everton are doing that, Paul, my bro. It's not easy to be consistent when you play with Iwobi. You see, and now you know what's going to happen, King. What's Matt going to say? CM, what's Matt going to say? He's going to say, put some respect on Iwobi's name next. We'll see it.
Hey, that's a bit of a stretch, though.
Oh, look at this. That's a stretch. I want you to read that out because I can't read that out. Like, I can't.
McNeil's better than Martinelli.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Who's modding in this chat?
Martinelli.
Who's mods in this
Who's
chat?
McNeil? Who's that? Who is it? Who does he play for?
He's on about Gabriel Martinelli.
No, I'm talking about McNeil.
Oh, Dwight McNeil.
Dwight McNeil.
Oh, the Burnley lad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, the only way he's gonna score more than him if Martinelli doesn't start or play.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Tell you who's better than Martinelli, Richarlison, but M won't have him at Arsenal. M, what's your response?
Richarlison shit, that's why.
Oh man.
Gosh,
You know what? CM, what's your thoughts on Richarlison and in general? Like, would you have taken him at Manchester United if the option was there?
But we don't even have many great options when it comes to attacking forwards or in that position. I don't know. I like him as a player because he has a personality. He has the quality to go with it at times. I don't think he would have been a particular player I would have taken at Man United. Just because, sometimes that attitude can ruffle some feathers. And we all know the softies that we have at Man United and the people who struggle to deal with pressure as it is. So we probably need to go in a different direction. But, I like Richarlison just because of his personality. I like to watch players like that who can express themselves on a different level on the pitch and aren't really of the modern day ilk where you see a lot of players really being reluctant to show true personality in a way to protect their own brand.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I do. And that's what we like to see because he's a street baller. When we go back to those Brazilian from the favelas, you like to see it. And nowadays, the passion for the game, it kind of gets mixed up a little bit with attitude, I'd say. But he's definitely someone who's passionate and something that, he needs to understand a little bit more. I hear where he's coming from when he comes off the bench. I mean, not comes off the bench, when he gets substituted and and he's looking and his head's down and he's not really there thinking about the team first. That comes with that Brazilian, that South American passion. I saw it with Alexis Sanchez. And I know you saw it with Alexis Sanchez as well, didn't you see it?
Well, you see it with Ronaldo, fam, as well.
True, yeah. Similar to that.
You see, it's the ego thing, isn't it? It's the ego. Sometimes a lot of these ballers, but what puts them in the position that they're at nowadays is that ego, and sometimes it comes for better or worse for the individual and the team.
Exactly that. Samuel saying Smith Rowe is there, who plays from the left, and he scored 10 goals. So we have depth only on the left wing, but not for Saka. That's what I'm thinking. That's Samuel saying. I don't think Richarlison is not getting into the team over Kane and Son. He doesn't seem the type to be happy sitting on the bench. Can see him kicking off and falling out with Conte. Interesting. We might have to keep an eye on that one if that happens. Mr. 200. Dwight McNoll goal, scored 1 goal in 2 seasons. Hey, the stats are there. Kings pulled out the records for you. Now you can disrespect him Albino all you want. Possible hot take. I think ESR takes a step back this year. I'm not fully convinced. Ooh, M. What's your thoughts on ESR as an Arsenal fan? And then we'll go to Neef and CM and hear their thoughts, because that's a big shout.
I think he'll get better this year, actually. I think he'll do well. I think last season, I think he was treated wrongly by Arteta towards the end of the season, because there were certain games where Martinelli was starting ahead of him, which I didn't understand, because for me, like against Brentford at the Emirates, I believe he scored. Then the next game, he was benched for Martinelli because Martinelli came back from his suspension. And from that game until then, Martinelli was always just starting ahead of him. And there was no reason for that. When you pick players, you pick them based on form. And I don't think Arteta was doing that between those two. I think this season he takes a step up and will try to get cement a position on that left-hand side.
Do you think that may have been the case because more so he was seeing ESR and playing him more in that central position rather than in that wide spot?
I don't see how he plays in the central position because Odegaard plays there. I think Odegaard's a better number 10 than him. I think on the left wing, I think he's better than Martinelli for me. I think Martinelli's good, but I think Smith Rowe is a better finisher. And he outscored him last season as well, I believe. So I think Smith Rowe gets better, actually. I don't agree with that.
Martinelli offers you something a bit different on that left-hand side where he can beat a man. That's something that Smith Rowe can't do. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. With Martinelli, you know he can beat a man and cross the ball in or take a few players on and be exciting, whereas Smith Rowe's game's not like that. And I think you need something different on either side. That's why I think Martinelli starts a lot of games on the left, because he offers you that different type of inventiveness compared to Smith Rowe. If you take Smith Rowe, then you take away that exciting part of exciting thing that you have on the left-hand side. I'm not saying in terms of better player, it depends what you go by stats or by what you see, but there's arguments for and against. I think Smith Rowe is better to the centre. I really do.
And that kind of
that's a good headache to have.
That kind of leads on what CM's point is, and when he was asking M, because Arteta has seemed to have like sampled him in that central area. I remember watching it against Burnley in particular, and he played Odegaard and Smith Rowe. He was actually in both Burnley games. Actually, he did that in, and in the central area. We did it against Liverpool too. I just think that with Smith Rowe, he still needs to improve his physicality in that midfield if he's going to get it with the rough and tumble. We've seen him take a few knocks in there, or even if you're not going to improve yourself physically, you have to be a little bit more clever in terms of how you're positioning your body. And those little things, because there's so many players that, David Silva, he didn't need to improve his physicality because he was such an intelligent footballer. Same goes with Santi Cazorla and the likes of those. So, yeah, I still think there's still development to go if he's going to make it in that central left 8 position, if we're going to play with 2 8s. But on that left, I hear what M's saying as well, because ESR's finishing is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And
in that 18-yard box, he's dangerous.
Yeah, we saw it against Chelsea. Cold finish. And we saw it against Tottenham as well. Man United he scored against, but no, that was in awkward circumstances with the De Gea situation there. But Leicester, I trust him in front of goal more than Martinelli. I've seen Martinelli go through one-on-one and doesn't give me the same confidence that Emile Smith-Rowe does, bearing in mind that he's a striker. But big up, we've also got Hanno in the place as well. Big up, Hanno. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. Yourself and the panel?
Big up.
Big up, Hanno, every time. Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Hanno. And we was kind of speaking on Chelsea earlier, but before we get back to Chelsea, I would like to hear CM's thoughts on Manchester United season coming up. And your pre-season came to a close yesterday over the weekend.
Why you got to bully him? Wait,
Nah, man.
let
No.
you.
I think personally, CM's got a lot more to be excited about than even you. So unfortunately, at the moment, but yes, CM. So it came to a close against Atletico Madrid.
Real
One,
Vallecano.
and then you played Real
Mhm.
Vallecano, yes,
Mhm.
on Sunday. So what's your thoughts overall with Ten Hag? That's the one we need to talk about. How much is he going to make a difference this season?
All right. There were some good things during the preseason, and there were some bad things that, to be honest, I expected to see because there hasn't been much change with the squad except for a few guys leaving. The likes of Pogba, Matic, etc. Um, you know, with this Man United team, we've added guys like Ericsson, we got Martinez to help out defensively. But to be honest, I still expect to see a lot of the mistakes we were making last season. With Ten Hag, he will bring his system. And the one thing I do hope is that he sticks with his style of play rather than previous managers, notably, Ralph and Ole. We don't need to mention him no more. Coming in with a set play style and then switching things around when things get tough, when times get, sticky. So he needs to come in, he needs to assert himself, he needs to be able to have a set playing style and make sure that if there are players that just cannot do it, whether it be come January time or come the end of the season, they need to go, and he needs to be able to have that freedom to ask the board to get the players that he wants in. A few players have come in the transfer window, and that's fair enough. I think Manchester United need a lot more to be able to be a consistent top 4 team, much less winning the title and winning trophies. We are a far way behind that, and previous seasons, the last several years have proved that, because we've just been in a downward spiral where we've tried to salvage things by spending large amounts of money on individual names, and it just hasn't worked out, and that's why we're here. So like what BNB is saying, it is a transitional year. There are going to be some good moments. There definitely are going to be some rough moments where fans are going to have to look at that, analyze, and just expect it. You can't be surprised by anything that's happening in the end of the day, because we've seen so much throughout these years that there is nothing else to be surprised about. I still think defensively and in the midfield, Manchester United will be got at. We saw that in pre-season. We will see that in the Premier League against better opposition. So in terms of changes, you will see players gradually probably getting better in terms of keeping possession. Attacking wise, I think that will be better this season, but we will see the same problems defensively. At times, if our attackers are struggling to score goals and they lack the confidence, we may be in trouble too, because our options up front, especially if Ronaldo wants to continue to act up and wants to leave, we're going to be relying on Martial staying up top. And then you've got Rashford, who hasn't really been in the best of form for a good part of a couple of seasons. We got Jadon Sancho, who we still don't know what exactly we're going to get from him this season. Hopefully he does get better. And then guys like Alanga, maybe Ahmad, who hasn't had a good preseason himself. So there's still a lot of questions to ask of this squad and a lot of improvements to be made. And it's not going to happen in one season, possibly even 2.
Definitely, I hear that. And in terms of you, what is it that you're looking forward to seeing the most from Erik ten Hag on the side? Is there any specific player that you see that maybe has been there previous to Erik ten Hag, maybe seeing the development of that player, or is it a new player? The floor is yours, bro. I'm trying.
I wouldn't really say I'm excited about a specific player going into the season. I want to see over this time with Erik ten Hag the development of how we play as a team.
Yeah.
Because for many years we focused on individual players digging us out of bad situations. Individual players, whether it be asking a Paul Pogba who's now gone to save us, or Cristiano Ronaldo last season being our top scorer, a guy who dug us out of so many situations, and to be honest, whether you like him or not, put us in the conversation to possibly have a chance of getting the top 4 when we shouldn't have been there. No chance. So we need to develop as a team and not focus on the individuals, not focus on Marcus Rashford to do this, Anthony Martial to do that, Bruno Fernandes to do this. We need to say, what are we going to do with the 11 players on the pitch?
Yeah.
Are the midfield going to complement, playing those balls towards the attacking players? Are the attacking players going to be able to make off-ball movement to drag players out of position and create spaces for those runners to go forward and then create overlaps, to create additional chances, to make our attacking threat even more? Are our defenders going to be working in unison? Is there going to be communication across that top four so that guys are not being caught out of position and all of a sudden there's a whole load of open space here because Harry Maguire or Lindelof didn't say, hold on a second, come back, this guy's making a run. There needs to be everybody working together, and that includes the goalkeeper all the way up to the striker up top. Not Bruno Fernandes, we need you to do this. Not Rashford, not Martial. It needs to be everybody on that pitch. There needs to be a sense of responsibility and accountability.
Definitely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. And my final question, and I'm sure we'll talk about Man United in other bits, but what's your expectation on United? What do they have to... It doesn't even have to be in terms of position. If you do have a minimum expectation that you want to achieve, like in terms of positioning, like is it Champions League, is it sixth, or is it just something that you just want to, those kind of things that you listed out in terms of what you want to see on the pitch?
I think a lot of the time you can get almost sucked into this Champions League debate.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it at all. If we make the top four and we're in the Champions League, great. It's fantastic. But what I want to see most importantly is the development, like I said before, of how this team plays in unison. If we're winning games on individual brilliance, that is bound to happen sometimes. Yeah. But I want to see most games, everybody working together, us being able to improve in the midfield, improve defensively, improve in attacking positions so that we're not caught out. And everybody knows their role. Everybody knows what they're doing within a set system, not just picking a formation and telling the players to go out there and do something, do a role in whatever you're doing today. I want the players to understand what they will be doing every single game in the Premier League, in the Europa League, and the cup competitions.
Well-rounded, man. And Paxton says, I'm not optimistic. Eric will improve us and we'll be slightly better. But when our board is acting against the club, we probably ain't getting Champions League or won't deserve to if we don't get in. A couple more comments. Steffi saying that pity about Ahmad and Chong, to Heath Chong. BNP said he's excited to see McFred for another season in that midfield as a rival fan. Hanno and Hinif, are we excited for that as rivals?
I think Fred's going to be better this season. I think Fred is. Listen, look, okay, in front of the back four, he shouldn't be anywhere near it. But when he's in the attacking third, you know what? I think he's very underrated. I think that when there are certain moments you think, bloody hell, did Fred pass that ball? Oh, bloody, he gets into positions where an attacking mid would be in, and that's his position in the final third. I think Fred is going to surprise the United fans, and I think there were certain things that that CM said that resonate with me as a Chelsea fan, because I think the way Chelsea have gone about, or Tuchel's gone about, he's made us tough to beat. Whereas CM wants to see a style of play. I want the style of play now as well, because we've not had a style of play since Sarri. So I understand where CM's coming from in terms of he wants a style of play and there's no pressure on him. And the thing is this, there's some gems at United and they've not been caught for a few years. So it wouldn't really surprise me if United are competing for the top four when we come into the last 10 games of the season, because some of those players' levels will be a lot higher compared to other seasons.
No chance of them competing for top four. No chance.
We'll have to wait and see.
Is that true, Hanno? Is that true? What's your before we bring in, you know what? Because this stream got very much more Irish in here. Big up Martin, Matt, and Nate in here as well. But Hanno, talk to me. Like, how are you feeling about the rivalry of Manchester United that looking like they're gonna improve. And Steffi's saying right here with this comment, and I think Steffi's very well balanced in saying this. I'd be happy with 6, just get the players playing in the system. I think that's quite very realistic, and CM echoes those thoughts. But what do you see? Chelsea, Man United. I mean, not Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, and Arsenal being your competition next season.
For me, I think Spurs are clear of us personally. But if we get maybe another defender in Cucurella, we're looking at him. Ajax FC, get in. We can sign him. We will maybe clear City, Spurs. But for me, it's going to be close until after Jan. I think Chelsea will clear the gap from United. I think then Arsenal will drop off, personally, for me. So I think there will be competition between United and Chelsea. But I think at the end, when we look back at the table, we'll see there's a big amount of points between us. But first half of the season, it's going to be tough. It's going to be competition between United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. For me, Arsenal were to sign 3 players. 3, 4 players. Half of them short. Good luck. Arsenal, nah. Honestly, I just don't.
Hanno, remember this. I know where to find you, Hanno. Do you know what I mean?
Hanno hates Arsenal. He hates Arsenal.
I know. Defo does hate Arsenal. I know.
Yeah, but that's my prediction.
There you go. Well, big up my Irish people. You know what I'm saying. We see him repping the colours right there. Jamaican Irish people. We got Nate. He's the perfect bridge in this gap. How you doing, Nate? Oh, you're on mute, my bro. You're on mute.
Typical.
Your content creator, we've all made that mistake. We all have.
Oh, I'm all good, mate. And Matt, just you to pipe up. Like that. Big mouth, innit?
I'm staying quiet, man. I'll stay quiet. I love you, Nate. Come on.
Listen, it's all love, brother. It's all love. I'm good, T. I'm good. Just looking forward to Friday on that South London derby setting. Do you know them ones?
You see, always has to come in with that South London one,
Well, sorry, is there not a station on the tube, man, called Woolwich Arsenal?
There is now called Arsenal up in the north. We conquered the south. Now we have to just take over the north. Sounds like a bit Game of Thrones, that
so looks like it got moved out of South London. It's like we had to get rid of you and let Millwall in. So yeah, we slipped up on that one. But it is what it is. We did West Ham a favour, though, to be fair. So West Ham
exactly. It's true. There you go. Exactly that. But a big up Matt as well in here. He's been in the comments. He's been trying to tell. M's gone now. It's a shame because
man, I was eating my dinner, and only if I was eating my dinner, I was gonna have a monumental eagle-eyed meltdown, man. I swear to God, he was annoying me.
Oh man, but with
the shambles. Like he actually said that he thinks that DCL was better than Richarlison.
Yeah.
And Richarlison was busy modelling for Vogue last season.
It's better than Richarlison?
Like,
oh, look at Martin. Martin saying he's better than Richard. Whoa, I nearly felt that.
I'm asking who. I didn't hear.
No, he said that M said DCL was better than Richarlison.
They're both as bad as each other.
Just mute him, will you? Jesus Christ.
They're both as bad as each other now, in fairness.
Okay, the next stupid thing to come out of his mouth now is that Ollie Watkins is better than the both of them. Watch.
Yeah, he is.
You can tell that there's a
exactly.
Rovers kickoff going here. This is how you can tell there's Rovers going on.
Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting this season because I think there's different feelings between you three in Nate and how you're feeling about this season, how it's all around at the club. Having Eze really coming back into it. Zaha looking sharp, the core into that midfield. Matt probably on the opposite end of the spectrum where, maybe it might have changed a little bit now, given the transfer business. Looks like you're about to get Idrissa Gana Gueye back in at the club as well. But yeah, for most of the summer it hasn't been positive, and it's been a bit more, just trying to get players in and trying to get that sorted. But it might be a little bit different now. And then Martin, I'd say from what I've seen from Aston Villa fans, it's been quite in the middle overall. You made your signings at the start with Diego Carlos and Kamara, but then it's kind of not really. Who's the last signing you made? Actually, was it Augustinson?
It was Augustin on loan, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not bad because
exactly. I know who. We'll just leave it at that.
A left back. Yeah. I mean, but you know what? We'll start with you here, Martin. How are you feeling about this season? What's your expectations for Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard?
Anywhere between 8th to 11th. I think the gap between the 4th to 7th and the rest is just a little bit too much. So like breaking into that top 7 is going to be a lot. If I'm going to be realistic on someone who is going to break that, would be Newcastle if they get some more decent signing in. And I don't know why they're bidding £50 million for James Maddison, by the way. If I'm Leicester, I'm taking that money and I'm running away with it.
Yeah.
Like, as good as James Maddison is, he is not a £50 million player. It's just because he's English. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I just think anywhere for us between 8 to 11, I'd be happy with anything in improvement on 14. And if we finish above Everton, it's a success. I don't care.
It wouldn't be hard.
If you just go down, Matthew, trust me, that group chat is going to be mental.
I won't be in it. I'll just leave.
You got Chelsea first game of the season. That's where you usually do well. If it was Fulham away, I'd fully expect us to get beaten. But the fact is Chelsea at home under the lights, first game of the season, I'm actually quietly confident about it. I actually don't see us getting beaten. I don't see us probably winning, but I can see us like grounding out a result and maybe getting a draw over, which I'll take straight away. Start of the season, like
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Hanno, Hanif, what's your thoughts on that? Because you don't have a great record at not Stamford Bridge, at Goodison Park against Everton. The last time you won was in 2017 with Conte.
2016, I think it was. Yeah.
It's gonna. It's gonna be a tough. Let's be honest. I think Everton, with their fans behind them, and they've got nothing. When you've got nothing to lose, they're not supposed to win this. They're not supposed to get anything. The pressure is always on the big sides to produce, and when they don't turn up, then you know that you might get spanked. Thank God, Richarlison's not there. That guy was a pain in the backside. So it's going to be a tough game. I think it's probably more likely going to be a draw than anything else. But I just don't know where we are at the moment in terms of the squad and how we're going to play. Well, what formation we're going to play. We play dead football anyway, but we're just going to set up and hopefully we can get the win. But it's not looking good because pre-season's not been great. So yeah, I think it's going to be 1-1 or a 2-2.
CM's laughing at you for that one.
CM, what's wrong?
No, don't try to throw me out, man. I'm just.
It's not laughing at that. It's just the comments.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen it. I'm pretty sure someone's putting Ghost Bunda.
I can't keep an eye on the comments. I'm struggling. I've got to keep an eye on these.
It's nothing to do with Ghost Bunda. It's just me and CM are having a bit of fun. Don't worry about it.
Fair enough.
It's all right. Nippon won't find out about Ghost Bunda for another year or so. I think I'm safe.
Oh man. But Nate, I wanted to come to you as well. Pause.
Yeah.
Just talking about Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? Because this has been like, I've been watching your preseason, of course, because of you guys at the EF family.
Yeah,
you've been looking sharp, man. The Corey coming in. Has your expectations risen, would you say, from like last season, where you just kind of wanted to consolidate in mid-table? Are you looking to get higher up and probably break into that top half?
That's probably what we need to happen, because we spent a fair bit of that Wan-Bissaka money on the academy, which obviously we're still getting the last bit of that finished. So the ideal situation there is we need to be regularly trying to break in. Obviously, Newcastle's investment makes it way harder than it already was. You've got West Ham in that bracket, Leicester in that bracket, Aston Villa will be in that bracket as well because they've got substantial backing behind them. If Everton can clean house and get to become a functional football club, they should be in that conversation. But that's if and when they do that. Hopefully Leeds go down because I've had enough of Leeds in the Premier League. It was great to have them back for a bit, but they need to go back to the Championship. But with us, to be honest with you, T, it's just more of the same, really. Like Vieira didn't do an awful lot more than what Roy was doing. Just the style of football was better. But the same inconsistencies we saw under Roy were there under Vieira. But because the style of play improved, we weren't hanging on to that gallows humor of, oh, we're going to concede in a minute. Way, we're 1-0 down. Way, we're 2-0 down. Way, we're 7-0 down. Now it's just, oh, we lost. Okay, cool. We played better, but we lost. We move. Whereas with Roy, it was like 1-0 down. Yep, we've lost. That's it. We're done. Goodbye. See you later. But the Decore signing is big because Kouyaté, yeah, decent player, but by no means going to pull up trees. But Decore has just looked clean in that midfield. Eze coming back. I mean, I don't know if my man's recovered from that flick he was the victim of because, mate, we're looking for him in South London. He went missing. But look, I know that there's links about Zaha to Chelsea, but I don't think Zaha wants to play for a club full of racists. I understand Raheem Sterling going there is a bit peak, like that. But, we'll have to see. But I don't see that happening because, the last time Chelsea gave us a player that wasn't Gallagher or, what was his name, Loftus-Cheek, it was Michy Batshuayi. So, yeah, I'm not keen on Chelsea
taking him. You can take him again. It's fine with me.
Nah.
I think Palace are a level up from that now. To be honest with you. I don't think they're going to be taking the likes of Batshuayi anymore.
You understand? It's better we got one false fire in Belgium at the club. We don't need a second one.
Palace's scouting is very good. Palace's scouting lately is very good.
Yeah, that's Dougie Freeman for you, mate. He just knows how to sign players up.
That's Dougie Freeman for you. This is the lad who signed Balassi for £750,000, but that's just my DOF. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some man are out here spending 30 million, 50 million, but he spent 24 on Eze and Elise.
I mean, Balassi weren't that bad until he picked up his injury.
No, I love Balassi, but that's what I'm saying, T, is that people are saying, oh, how are Palace doing this? Dougie did this in the Championship. Who goes and signs players like Jedinak and Glenn Murray on freeze? Didn't pay any money for them players and sold them for profit. And got Glenn Murray off Brighton on a free, which is beautiful. Just beautiful.
I remember when he was still playing for Palace. Dougie. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's done a very good job. Yeah. When you get ex-players, become DOFs like at Arsenal, they tend to do a decent job. Any, I know you like Eddie.
I do, yeah. He was an average player, yeah. And you guys made him out to be some kind of legend. The guy's dead, man.
He was an invincible. All right. Invincible.
All right. You carry that trophy, bro. Keep that trophy.
12 draws. 12 draws.
Oh, man. But you know what? The people, I'm going to wrap this up. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask everyone in the panel something individual to their team. And because you know what? We've got, I think Everton, Aston Villa, and Crystal Palace. If it goes well for Everton, they'll be in the mix with those. But it could easily for, not easily for Crystal Palace, but for Villa, if it doesn't work, there is, it's a very experienced squad, I'll say, with Aston Villa. When we're looking at it, and players that you expect to hit the ground running with the players in their late 20s. Even signing Diego Carlos, Luka Dean, Coutinho, Buendia's now in his mid 20s, I'd say. So it's players that you expect to do well now.
26 now, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be the expectations have risen, and I think that's the case for all you sides. So you know what? In terms of wrapping up, we'll go back to you guys again. Who do you see without giving the positions away? In terms of you three, who's finishing the highest, in the middle, and lowest? Martin, start.
Villa, Palace, Everton.
Villa, Palace, Everton. What about you, Matt?
Palace, Villa, Everton.
Okay, interesting.
Because I'm
you
not
got
biased.
I know you in particular. I don't know if it might have been a bit tongue in cheek. I might just be in terms of Steven Gerrard. That's someone that you've been saying you need to keep your eye on.
No, I think if anybody was in charge of Aston Villa, it's either gonna work out brilliantly or it's gonna fall on his face. It's one of those situations at Aston Villa. They spent so much money now. I've seen it happen at Everton. You can spend so much money and you could lose 4 or 5 games in a row, and for all of a sudden you're falling to the bottom 5. The owners get twitchy. Steven Gerrard, is he experienced? All this kind of stuff. He spent all this money. He has experienced players at his disposal, and they're not playing for him. It's happened before. Everton have been through 9 managers in the last 7 years. I've seen it happen before. It can happen so easily. The Aston Villa owners have put a lot of faith in Steven Gerrard, and this is his time to shine. And if it doesn't work out this season, it's going to be an absolute free-for-all. And they're under serious pressure. If it works, yeah, I can see them challenging top 10, no problem. Maybe even challenging for that last European spot. But if it doesn't work, they could be in serious trouble. And that's just my honest opinion on it. That's me being completely honest because I've experienced it with Everton.
There you go. Interesting right there. What about you, Nate? For out of these 3 clubs, into Aston Villa, Everton, and Palace.
Boy, I should probably back my boys, but I know what Palace are like. When people big us up, we don't deliver. When nobody expects it, we tend to rise to the top. So I'll be real and say I think Villa are better prepared than us. They've spent more money than us since they've been back in the Prem, so I'd put them ahead of us. If Everton can clean up shop, as I said earlier, they might be able to make up some ground they lost last season, so I wouldn't really write Everton off as such. But I think because Eze's come back and we're not really going to be that sort of a Gallagher going back to Chelsea, I'd put Villa, Palace, Everton, but I would interchange Everton and Palace if things go wrong with Vieira and things go right with Lampard, or goes right with Vieira, goes wrong with Lampard. It just depends on how Vieira's second season pans out and how Lampard's first full season pans out. Because remember, Lampard and Gerrard, it's their first full seasons at their respective clubs. It's Vieira's second at Palace.
It's true.
Can I just add something to this?
Yeah.
Everton were so bad last season. I'm just looking at this, right? We all know how bad Everton were and the slagging and all I got, tucking on the chin, whatever, right? We only finished 6 points off Aston Villa, and we only finished 9 points off Crystal Palace, and Everton nearly got relegated. So let's just leave that sit there. We're not that far behind you.
The gap is very tight. Yeah,
we're not that far behind you.
Are you trying to justify the fact that you're so bad that you're making it?
No. I'm sitting here saying Everton are a bad team. I've always said it. Anybody in here, all the panel, Everton are a really, really bad side. I'm just not blowing smoke up my own team's arse. You finished 6 points. Villa finished 6 points after all the money they spent. And Steven Gerrard is such a bleeding legend, all this kind of stuff. 6 points. They weren't that many defeats away from being in the relegation zone. All right? So listen, don't get on that high horse. We might go to 7th place. Mate, you were 6 points off a relegation battle last season.
All right? Simple as that. Saying that the gap between...
He's triggered!
I'm being honest by saying the gap between 4th to 7 is too much to handle.
What's fired, man? What's fired?
To 11th. I'm being honest here. I'm not saying.
But hold on a minute. Do you know the gap? The gap from 15th, the gap from 14th where Villa finished to 11th is even massive.
It's not really.
It's huge. Well, it is kind of because that's where look where Brighton finished.
Between 8th to 15th is really close. You lose one game, you're in 15th. You win one game, you're in 8th. That's. But you wouldn't know that being down relegation candidates.
No, do you know what? It's gonna be the funniest ever when Villa goes down the bottom half of the table. It's gonna be so funny, man.
So funny. In the league, you just won't be in the league by the time all this happens. So I don't care.
I'm loving this. You guys have got me excited. Do you know what?
So funny, man. Aston Villa were literally in the championship about 3 years ago. That's how funny this is.
And now we're a better team than Everton. So what's that?
Wouldn't be hard because Everton are a terrible football side.
We just about screwed survival and we still bet you long.
Yeah, congratulations. You're in the league because you beat Everton. Well done.
Yeah. We have you to thank.
Anyway, listen, I said it before and I say it again. Everton are a terrible, terrible side. They had a really, really bad season, nearly got relegated. And Aston Villa, for some reason, think they're God's gift and they're going to finish in the top 10 when they were only 6 points ahead of Everton.
I love how you said that you're triggered by Aston Villa when I was actually being honest on my prediction and you're triggered.
I was honest.
That is
I said
crazy.
Aston Villa. I said Aston Villa were going to finish ahead of Crystal Palace and Everton. I was honest about it. I just don't think they're going to finish top 10 like you do.
You just said Palace, Villa, and then Everton.
Sorry, yeah, Palace, Villa, and Everton. Yeah, I think Palace. It's going to be close between the three of them. I think, like bottom half of the table.
Someone kick this man off, will you?
I don't see. I just don't see.
Okay, this is how you know that the Sheldon Shamrock Rovers rivalry is starting to show through a bit, because I can feel it from over here.
No,
Yeah.
I just don't like delusion sometimes.
They don't know nothing about football. They're just sore losers over there.
I love these. Man. I love them.
I just don't like. I had to call out delusion when I say it. Like,
Oh man,
Villa are not finishing the top 10. Simple as that. They're not finished top 10.
You have some serious greying on your hair. You look like a badger.
Oh, what's the personal insult? What's this now? See, that's when you know you're beaten, when you start going to personal insults. That's when you know you're beaten. You're a beaten man. And if that was, I wouldn't mind Martin. Martin, what did I say to you yesterday? I said your hair looked.
Being honest, and you're
I said your hair looked. I said your hair looked. I said your hair looked phenomenal yesterday. I take it back. Bleeding cheeky.
Hey, but everyone put these two in the back for a minute.
Let's keep it. Oh man,
This is what Irish fans
No, it's all. Listen, it's all love at the end of the day, right? But seriously, like at hand on heart, right? There is at least 8 to 10 teams better than all 3 of our teams. At least. Like,
teams now haven't actually done much in the transfer window, so like, but time will tell. Time will tell.
Plus, Brighton.
well, you have the top 6. You have the top 6 to finish from last year. You have the top 6 to finish from last year. Then you have West Ham, Leicester,
Imagine French,
Brighton.
Actually, you know what? I think Wolves probably won't even do that well. They don't look like they.
No, they won't.
Matt, you got to remember, Brighton have sold Bissouma. They could be selling Cucurella. That's 2 key components of that.
I did see
team.
Chelsea are in talks for him, aren't they? Like Chelsea put into advanced talks, yeah.
Well, if them man there are going down the table, I'm living for it. Because they're like an elephant up a tree. You don't know how it got up there, but it's coming down eventually.
It's gonna be. I'll tell you, if Everton are in the top 5 after like 3 games, I'm just gonna be unbearable.
I know, right? Yeah, you know what, guys?
He's talking about me and the high horse and Everton being in the top 5 after 3 games.
Because we all know, including myself, it's not going to happen. We all know.
So remember that one year when Villa and Everton were battling for the league after 4 games?
Well,
yeah.
You know what?
The Kazoo Derby.
The Kazoo Derby
when
was
Everton
brilliant.
play Villa.
What was
The
that?
second game of the season is going to be interesting when Everton play Villa.
Oh, okay.
The
The floor is yours, Matt. The double M showdown. That's what I might call it. The floor is yours for that one. But you know what, Hanno? I wanted to start with you on this one. Top 4. And I'll ask these guys as well. I want to hear what their top 4 is. Who's like? What's your actually top? You know what? You don't need to do.
Oh, sorry, guys. Just before you start, I have to get going because I have to go onto Moss's stream now for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have to get going for that one. Big up, man. Big up, Martin.
Take it easy, right?
Have a good one, man. No worries. But yeah, in terms of that, so I want to hear your 3rd to 6th, Hanno. Who's going to finish in your top from 3rd to 6th?
Okay.
My stream went there for a second. You back?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Well, my 3rd to 6th. Now, this is in no particular order. Arsenal, United, Chelsea, Tottenham.
No, but we need it in order. Who's finishing?
Okay.
Who's finishing within the top 4? Who's the 2 teams?
Okay, Chelsea and Tottenham.
You still think that Chelsea and Tottenham and United and Arsenal outside?
Yeah.
Interesting. CM?
I think before a week or 2 ago, I said that it will be Chelsea and Spurs to finish in the top 4, and Arsenal and United to finish outside. So I'm gonna stick with that for now, and we'll see how it goes, innit? Because I also think that Arsenal, they're in a good position to get into the top 4, but it all depends on how things work out, and the same with everybody else. I mean, I definitely say with confidence United ain't getting into the top 4, but when it comes to Chelsea, it's unpredictable with them whether they're gonna have a good season or whether things are gonna kind of be half and half here and there. With Spurs, even though people are rating them highly, it could go crashing down as well. So you never know. We'll just have to see how things work out.
Interesting right there. Hanif, what about you? Have you got anything different to CMs and Hanos?
I think it's so top four. I think Liverpool are gonna win the league. I've gone Spurs second. I've got Man City third, and I'm not sure about fourth. I think fourth's gonna be really tight. Because the objectives can change in January, February time. Everyone's objectives could change. At the moment, if Chelsea were not to buy anyone, I don't think they get top four. But I think if Cucurella and maybe one more come in, I think Chelsea are better positioned with the players that they've got to get top four. So mine is a bit wild because I feel City are going to finish third because of the whole international break and the amount of games that are coming. I just Hano might not agree with me, but we play dead football. We're a team that we're hard to beat. That's all we are. We have to admit that. We're hard to beat. Whereas I want style now. I really want style. Whereas I don't think we'll get it because we're in a bit of a pickle. But
we want
I think that's what's going to be.
That's what we want.
Pardon?
I think you are right. It will be difficult because you have to look at how many of these players are Tuchel signings or players that Tuchel really trusts.
Yeah, but Tereak, you can't say that though now, innit? Because ultimately, right, we've even fair enough, right? He's only got a couple in, but you can't say half the players that are at Chelsea are not that good because he's won Champions League with them. If he didn't win Champions League with them, I'd still be like, right, he needs to get rid of half these, man. We had a rebuild, and fair enough, the structure is wrong, but I think Tuchel is still good enough. We'll see how much of a good coach he is this year because it's a lot tougher. I still think this team can win a domestic cup, and I think we'll be aiming for the top four, which is a stupid aim in itself. But yeah, we'll be aiming for the top four, and that's about it really. It's sad to say stuff like that as a Chelsea fan, but yeah, that's it. I just want to see style, man. If you want, just give me style. I'll take a trophy and I'll take outside top four as well. I'll give it to you, Tereak. Just to keep you happy.
But having this style is difficult though because you do need a lot of backing. And it's not even necessarily you need a lot of money for sure, definitely, but you need backing in terms of the players that you want to bring in, the players that you don't want that you want out, and that's difficult. And that's why it takes time. This is where CM and many Man United fans, though, especially the ones in the chat, they understand that it's going to take a while because Erik ten Hag is going to need his players, and the players that he may have who are in that squad for the long term are going to need to understand his ways. And it's going to take more than just a season because I've seen our players, even, the likes of Saka, who are young players, take their games to the next level and improve and look even better in this system. So, yeah, I think to have style, it's a little bit it's more difficult and takes more time. But to win a trophy, yeah, I can hear that because remember, to win a cup competition, the Champions League is still a cup competition, and you don't need to play well to win it. Chelsea,
we've proven that.
Yeah,
we've proven that. Champions. I don't rate Champions League. I really don't. I've said it many times. I think it. Depending on how your league season is going, if it's not going that well, you could just concentrate on the Champions League because the games are. I would say they're not as tough as the Premier League. We've proven that. We've won the competition, and ultimately City couldn't break us down, and that's what it came down to. And we scored the only goal of the game. Exactly. I just don't rate I don't see why. I like winning trophies. I'm not going to deny that, but to say that the Champions League is a major trophy, I'm telling you right now, you always want to win your domestic league. That's how I've always seen it. Maybe I'm an old school kind of a guy, or any trophy you're in. And I think teams shouldn't sleep on the Europa League because winning the Europa League is not easy now. It's a tough competition once you get into those knockouts.
Exactly. It's true. I hear that. And Bargav's asking, any surprise dark horses this year for you guys? And then, and we'll run through a few comments and wrap it up there. So quick fire. One word or team goal. We'll start with you, Hanif.
Everton. I'm going with Everton. I think that's
Interesting.
yeah.
CM.
Everton.
I'm gonna go with. That's a tough one.
He's looking at that table right now. He's like, "Whoa."
Say something mad, CM. You're allowed to.
Fun. You know what? I'm gonna say Fulham, man.
Fulham. You heard it. That's the first time I've ever heard like Fulham be mentioning this. So if it happens, CM, I'm a have to hold my hands up. We'll have to wait and see. Is it for Michael Hector? Is he still there actually?
I have no idea, bro. I'm gonna have to check still.
Nice trash.
Yeah, he's
he's awful.
good,
That's another.
No good.
That's another one. He came from Chelsea's product. Nate, you still here, my bro?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Who's your dark horse this year?
I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest. I think people are going to sleep on them a bit too much, so I'm saying Forest.
That's a good shout as well.
And there you go. Big up Invisible Protege. Big up Protege saying, well, actually, this is just previous comments. So I have to bring that up there. Arsenal don't have depth. So true. I do think Arsenal should go in for Ziyech or Havertz combined. Oh, now, in terms of the attack.
Quickly on Michael Hector. I'm so glad Chelsea got him ahead of Palace. Because, mate, I don't want him. The fact that he plays for the Jamaican national team is like, mate, have we got no better Donnies now?
Oh, it's true, man. What was you
no
interested?
We ain't qualified for no World Cup out here.
Oh man, you guys were interested in Hector when he was at Chelsea as well. Oh.
No, he was at Reading and then went to Chelsea.
Yes, he did. Good shout. Oh yeah. Now Doogie knows what he's doing.
That was before Dougie, thank God. Bullet dodged.
Exactly, especially if you play Burnley. Lol. We have to wait and see. Super Nick in the house saying City won't win the league. Arsenal will improve and may make top 4. Spurs will surprise. And I think Chelsea will be slow but steady in making top. United will improve. Good shouts right there. So Super Nick saying Liverpool, I'm guessing, to win the league, unless Super Nick's gone really for that Spurs surprise and going for them. But I'm presuming that you've gone for Liverpool. But good evening to yourself as well. Truth throws on Donatello. You guys already up 5 minutes to the draft. We will. He's called you Frozone. Do you know Frozone, Eddie? From The Incredibles.
No. Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Yeah, from The Incredibles, man.
That's the second time someone's done that to me, I had to
man.
Google image it, yeah.
It's funny, man. It's funny.
No, I can't unsee it.
And there you go. Super Nick agreeing with you there, Nate. And there we go. We've got 20 to go as well.
I've not heard Mo Farah yet, but yeah.
Yeah, and I was agreeing to some of the Champions League talk. It's harder to win the league. Agreeing with you there, Hanif. But Champions League only gets better later in the latter stages, and all the top teams just play each other over. Yeah, it is true.
The Super League has to happen, man. The Super League, I hate to say it, obviously not the way that it was going to be, but the Super League has to happen for football, for the top clubs to play each other all the time. If not, then so be it. But the Champions League's not a good competition. Plus, I think there's more. Is there more games now, or is it next year? I can't remember.
It's more games now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's more games in Europa as well as.
No, sorry, I lie. I think it starts next year, but they tried to push it for this year coming.
Mm-hmm. But guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up now. So just before I do that, let me give a big shout out to everyone who's came on. Thank you to those of you who came onto the show and everybody in the chat as well. Thank you for all the love and support that you continue to show to this channel. Go subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow me if you're watching on Twitch like Protege is over there. Big up. I'm 480 now, so thank you to those new subscribers. 20 more, then we can get the community tab going, people. 500. I was aiming for 500 before the season. Don't think that's going to happen, but if we can hit 500 before the end of August, then we're here, baby. Big up yourself as well, Steffi. Thank you to you all. I'll give the platform to my wonderful guests to give themselves a shout out. We'll start off with Hanif, who's stuck here through thick and thin throughout the show. Big up, my bro, man. Thanks for hopping on. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah, you can find me on 532_pod on Instagram. Mostly on Tereak Talks, Munzi Talks, Eagle Eye Football. I think these are the only channels that can put up with me, to be fair. But apart from that, please do please do subscribe and make your views heard. I think opinions matter and they deserve to be heard. But yeah, big up to everyone and thank you so much.
Definitely. And quick plug for the Twitter spaces that we're going to try and do weekly as well.
Yeah, so once a week we'll be on Twitter. Me being controversial and reckless, and Tereak being sensible, because that's what Twitter's all about. So we'll be on Twitter Spaces once a week, and I think Twitter is gonna absolutely smash it for us after everything you hear on everybody else's spaces. But yeah, please do subscribe and just join up if you want to hear good footballing banter.
Definitely. Big up my bro CM in here as well, repping the Jamaican jersey. And you know what? Big up my bro, man. Thanks for coming on. Let the people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Nah, big up T, big up everybody that's been on the panel today, the TTF. You can find me CM22ENT on YouTube, Twitch, all socials, mainly Twitter though, Instagram and TikTok, a little bit on the side. I'll be doing a lot going forward on Twitch. We got gaming, a lot of FIFA, NBA 2K, WWE, Football Manager. You got Man United watch-alongs coming in the future. Over on YouTube right now, we got the United Twins that's going to be rolling once the season starts. So look out for that one.
I've missed Cappy. I really have, man. I really have. He's been busy.
CM don't get no ratings no more, bro.
Nah. See him no more. Nah, see him. This is it. You had your time to shine. I miss Cappy. But big up Eagle Eye Nate, man. Let the people know where they can find you, as they can see right there in terms of your Twitter handle, and what you've got coming up, bro.
Yeah, they can find me over on Eagle Eyed Football with Rich, JC, Statman Dan, and the one and only Nikki. You can catch us for our Arsenal preview, which, of course, my brother Tereak will be appearing on, and we're looking forward to having him back on the channel. And you can catch us for a whole heap of watch-alongs this season as well, because it's watch-along settings on Eagle Eyed Football. But big up to everybody that's in the comments, everybody that's been on the panel. And let's get Tereak up to 500 subs, people, because if there's a man that deserves it, it is the one and only Tereak.
Thank you very much, my brothers. And you know what? Because we have got free Jamaican blood in here as well, and we got Super Nick saying Happy Emancipation Day to all Jamaicans in yard and abroad. Look at that. I know Nate's doing the same thing right now because we all got Jamaican blood in here. So big up Super Nick and big up CM for bringing that up earlier as well.
Yes.
Love to you all, and we're out, people. Peace. Have a good one, and I'll catch you tomorrow.
Big up.